I just want to be free.
I can set you free.
We love us some Julie Kelly. I texted Julie Kelly. I said, you picked the wrong week to be offline, Julie. Everything's changed. Welcome back.
I did. I had some eye surgery, not an eye lift. That is in my future though, but eye surgery. So I missed seeing you and your beautiful family again in Chicago, but I do love seeing how you have such an affinity for the city because it is a beautiful city filled with a lot of great people and a lot of fun things to do. So it looked like you guys had a blast at Trump Tower, at Trump Hotel.
Yes, we certainly did. It was such a warm reception to a very cold city. This is a reception that I wish to speak with you about very quickly here as we let the shot normalize. ALX, let me know if it okay, good. Pop it up. Here's Kash Patel. I put this up, Julie. I wanted to start with Kash. There's so much news that has happened since you've been on the show. You've only been off the show for 2 weeks, but I feel like the entire world has changed in those 2 weeks. I want to get to all of it really quickly. Kash Patel. This is an older post, but a great post proving why he must be FBI director. I'm sure you have some thoughts on this. When was the last time you snorted crack, paid multiple women for sex, one of which was your dead brother's wife, then slept with your sister, having them all on payroll, capturing it all on camera, while snuffling through classified documents your dad stole, while you used to get 7-figure contracts from America's enemies, and unlawfully obtained a firearm and all got away with it. Only if your name is Hunter Biden and your dad is called Joe. Whew. I think that's exhibit A for why we need Kash at the FBI. I don't think any of this would have happened if we had a proper FBI. The horrors of the Joe Biden FBI are truly impossible to actually enumerate. But maybe let's start with what changes would Kash Patel bring to the FBI as you've been the #1 reporter covering it all?
Well, of course, I know Kash, and this is why you see the media and Democrats and even lily-livered Republican rhino senators who are nervous about Kash taking over that bureau because he understands exactly what happened there, dating back to when he was with Devin Nunes's House Intelligence Committee and exposing all the corruption related to the FISA abuse and the Steele dossier and connections to the Hillary Clinton campaign and DNC. And so he was instrumental in uncovering all of that. So I believe he will continue to dig into what happened there, but everything that has happened since then. And of course, I am most excited and enthusiastic about Kash's defense of the J6 defendants, understanding at a very visceral level what has happened in those cases. And not only, I think, will he fully expose all the FBI assets that were involved in January 6th before and on that day, but also look into the abusive tactics of the FBI. Benny, as you know, what I posted last night, another aggressive armed SWAT raid of the home of a J6 protester. And this was just in October of this year. So I believe he will dig into who was responsible for deploying those military style tactics against American citizens, terrorizing them and their entire neighborhoods, and violating the fundamental rights of American citizens. So I feel very confident that that is just a few things. Those are a few things that Kash will address as FBI director.
Yeah, let's jump over here to this tweet. This is absolutely horrifying. This is camera footage of what looks like martial law, a military-style operation, like an Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi operation on an American citizen. This happened in October. 15 heavily armed FBI agents storm with flashbang grenades, pointing guns at American citizens for peacefully protesting. What the hell is wrong with our country?
You know, Benny, I've seen a lot of Ring camera footage of FBI raids over the past several years. This one really shocked me because the subject, Jeff Snyder, was not home. And in fact, he is still at large. But his wife was home and they hauled her out. This is 6 a.m. in the morning, right? So 6 a.m. is the earliest apparently the FBI can conduct a raid. So you can see in this footage, they're not just going to the home. They're waking up the entire neighborhood with this shrew FBI agent on a loudspeaker demanding that Jeff Schneider exit his house. In the meantime, they've got guns pointed at his wife. They drag her outside. They handcuff her and interrogate her, even though she's not a suspect, of course. The entire neighborhood wakes up. And then they start interrogating the neighbors, which they've continued to do so for weeks. I was told that one of the neighbors was interrogated on Thanksgiving Day. They practiced this raid, the FBI told one neighbor, at the Oakland Zoo. This is Oakland, California. Now think of Oakland, California, right? Like any big city, a lot of crime, a lot of illegals there. But this is how our government is using our most powerful tools and resources against American citizens for protesting Joe Biden's election now almost 4 years ago. Absolutely disgraceful.
We went to Oakland and were robbed within minutes of being in Oakland, had our car windows smashed. And our producer, ALX, had to fight off a robber. That's how crime-ridden and filthy Oakland is. Oakland is an absolute cesspool. It looks like a third world UNICEF UN camp for refugees is what Oakland looks like. And this is what our federal government is spending our time doing, terrorizing Americans. What would be, I mean, I know you've posted this morning about the Inspector General refusing to release a report about the FBI's activities on January 6th. Why is that happening? How do we get that report? What would you advise Kash Patel to do to restore trust with the American people? Because I think that's really what it's all about. I'm the FBI's best friend. I'm the DOJ's best friend in the world. The best friend you got here is little old me saying, if you release the data and if you release the documents, the American public will trust you. We'll begin to, you'll establish now high trust with the American public if you talk about the Epstein list, the Diddy list, if you don't protect pedophiles, and if you tell us how many agents were in the crowd at January 6th and make amends for it. This is how you actually restore these agencies. What's the reporting here from this Inspector General?
Well, Michael Horowitz, as you know, is a deep stater. He has been the DOJ Inspector General for years. He did produce some good reports, especially related to FISA abuse. He sent some criminal referrals, including Andrew McCabe for lying under oath to his office. Of course, the DOJ never prosecuted him, Andrew McCabe and others. But look, Michael Horowitz wants to keep his job and keep the authority that he has there. He actually suspended this internal investigation while it appears that the January 6th Select Committee was conducting its work. And his excuse was, well, I couldn't interfere in their investigation. Well, of course you can, because you have authority on your own to investigate the DOJ and FBI's role in January 6th. So that was suspended for an unknown amount of time. But Michael Horowitz told Congress in September the report was completed. It was in draft form. It was undergoing a classification review. Of course, many of you know what that means. Somebody is sitting there with a black, marker, scratching out everything that it doesn't want released to the public under the guise that it's, national security or sensitive intelligence matters, et cetera. But now it's been sitting there for 3 months. Now, Merrick Garland told Congress he would not interfere in Michael Horowitz making those findings public. So where is it now? It's been done for 3 months. Not only, Benny, are we entitled, the American people entitled, to know how many FBI assets, informants, undercover employees, agents were involved, but these defendants deserve to know, because they can then argue an entrapment defense. And some of them have tried before, rejected by the judges. But if we have confirmation by the Department of Justice that hundreds of FBI assets were deployed to the Capitol as, looking like Trump supporters or encouraging the crowd or acting as agitators, then they can present that sort of entrapment defense. And of course, as you know, and I've been posting, we had 3 jury trials start yesterday in Washington, D.C., Benny. These trials are still ongoing. People are still being sentenced to jail. These proceedings are not stopping in the Washington federal courthouse as they should. So this is a big piece of the puzzle that's still missing. And Michael Horowitz and, of course, Attorney General Merrick Garland are responsible for withholding that sort of exculpatory evidence from these defendants and from the American public.
So the major talking point out right now over the past 24 hours is that Joe Biden just handed the largest blanket pardon in American history to his criminal, degenerate, sex pest son, who, again, as we have elucidated here, Cash's tweet did a great job actually of doing it. That absolved him of not specific crimes, but all crimes that he might have committed in an 11-year period. And everyone on the left is saying, hold on, you just gave Donald Trump a roadmap for pardoning January 6th defendants and maybe just pardoning all of them. Now, Mike Davis was on our show yesterday saying, I used to be of the mind that we should go case by case and really look at the details. But now I personally believe Trump should just blanket pardon and just say, nope, it's too much of a rat's nest, all of this, and you've now handed us the weapon with which to do this. What's your thought now on January 6 pardons, given the Hunter Biden news?
Look, I have always been for almost a blanket pardon, with a few exceptions, maybe people with criminal records or really involved in violence. But I have a piece up at my Substack right now, Declassified with Julie Kelly, that says, yes, based on now the Hunter Biden pardon, the broadness of it, covering up for crimes that Hunter Biden obviously committed while his father was president, how can we possibly justify a piecemeal approach to pardoning and offering the same sort of blanket clemency to January 6th defendants? Look, Benny, even the ones who are accused of assaulting police officers. We know that police officers from the DC Metro Capitol Police started the violence that day. They started attacking protesters. Most of the confrontations that we see on the cherry-picked videos leaves that context, important context, out. Well, not only was that sort of video left out in the American public, it was also left out in trials, because judges time after time refused to let jurors see how the police misconduct that day that prompted this uprising by protesters who were standing outside a government building on public property on a Wednesday afternoon. They did not have to be attacked by DC Metro and Capitol Police using flashbangs like we just saw the FBI and that clip use, rubber bullets, dousing people with tear gas, shoving women down the stairs, beating women over the head. I mean, these are facts of what happened on January 6th. All of that has been ignored by the media, by the J6 Select Committee, and been buried in these trials. No one in Washington, D.C. got a fair trial in a city that voted 93% for Joe Biden and 93% for Kamala Harris. The entire process from beginning to end was rigged against these defendants. And that is the biggest argument, in addition to this broad pardon for Hunter Biden, why all January 6th defendants should be pardoned, released from prison, and be able to go on and try to rebuild their lives.
It's amazing. Like, people get released all the time. Like, people who are convicted of murder, mass murder, like multiple murders, get convicted on technicalities all the time. Somebody doesn't dot an I, cross a T. Somebody has the wrong date in a filing, and you let them go. You spring them. You say, okay, that's the system. You know, the system can't work against you. From the get, Julie, this has been the system clearly wishing to persecute and torture Americans for their First Amendment right, which is to redress their governmental grievances peacefully. And it's been an abomination from the get. And I'm in favor of it. I'm totally in favor of it. So pardon all J6ers. This is up at Declassified Live. Julie Kelly, I want to just quickly pivot to the squishy, cucky, limp-wristed, still McConnell-controlled wing in the Senate who is slow-walking these picks along with John Thune, who's obviously being everything that we knew he was going to be by not declaring. It is astonishing to me. I haven't seen a single declarative statement from John Thune saying, we will vote for this pick. This is a good pick. We must vote for it. It's total and complete deference to Mitch McConnell every time, saying, well, our members are going to decide. That's what he says on Kash Patel. Do you have a message for these limp-wristed Republicans in the Senate?
I mean, look, John Thune, to your point, is exactly who we knew he would be. And this is how he has conducted himself in office. And it is so unfortunate that our only real choices were John Thune and John Cornyn. Of course, we all tried to get Rick Scott in there as well. But this has been the problem with the Senate Republicans for how many decades? I just don't understand why we are saddled with this sort of weak, cowardly leadership when our institutions are in crisis. The public trust in our government, leadership, and of course, as you just pointed out, the Department of Justice and FBI is crashing. And you have John Thune sitting there saying, well, I guess we have a few problems at the top. No, we don't. John Thune, look at the video that I just posted last night and that you just showed, Benny. This is not a problem with the FBI that was only relegated to the 7th floor of the J. Edgar Hoover building in Washington, D.C. This has infected all 56 FBI field offices who are treating American citizens like domestic terrorists. And he wants to sit there and mealy mouth Kash Patel? So again, very disappointing, but I do think, and now of course, John Thune isn't up for re-election for 4 years, so primary may not really scare him, but there has to be other consequences for him standing in the way of allowing bold leaders, aggressive leaders like Kash Patel take over these agencies, expose the corruption, get the rot out from top to bottom, and try to restore the public trust that is completely gone in the nation's most powerful law enforcement agency.
Like, who won the Senate majority? It wasn't the senators. It was Donald Trump. Donald Trump overperformed every single senator that was a new senator that got elected. Donald Trump overperformed in their states. So it was Donald Trump who carried across a majority for the Senate. So the extreme deference to President Trump and the advise and consent is, I mean, it's amazing. Advise and consent doesn't mean I don't like you because we have petty grievances with each other, and so now I'm going to sabotage you. It's really sick, frankly, what's going on with Republicans. If these were Democrats, half these Republicans voted for Merrick Garland, which I will constantly remind people. They voted for Merrick Garland, Lisa Monaco, Alejandro Mayorkas. They voted for them.
Yes, they did.
It's that you want to talk about a real insurrection. This is the insurrection inside of the Republican Party, where you have Republicans masquerading, Democrats actually masquerading as Republicans. Very quickly, what do you want to see Kash do on his first day at FBI? Go.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's see. Fire everyone in the Washington FBI field office and open an investigation into what happened there. Open up a separate investigation into the armed raid of Mar-a-Lago and all the agents and officials, including top DOJ, who were involved in that. And of course, a separate inquiry and holding accountable these FBI agents who have been treating American citizens like terrorists over the past 4 years. So that would be, I guess, my short list. But Benny, before we wrap up here, I do not consent to not making fun of Trey Gowdy. I'm sorry. That is a bridge too far. I am not going to stop making fun of him. I understand the motive. I understand you're being gracious. That's not going to happen here. Sorry.
Well, it's not going to hurt his feelings because he moved to England and his house got flooded. And so, it's just too bad. See, now you got me doing it, Julie. Kelly, you got me doing it. I'm not supposed to make fun of him because he's helping Kash. And I care about, it's horse trading. This is politics. This is media. It's horse trading. We're going to horse trade or making fun of Trey Gowdy for Kash Patel in the chair, which is what we actually want. Kash Patel in the chair, releasing the Diddy and Epstein lists starting day one. That's what we want.
Right.
Okay.
All right. That's a big sacrifice, buddy.
It's enough. It's enough for me. He's got me on that. Okay.
You're very persuasive.
Great, Julie Kelly. Go ahead. 770,000. Great patriotic Americans follow Julie Kelly. You should be one of them. If you're not, you're crazy. Let's get her to 1 million people. We're on our way. See you, Julie.
Thanks, buddy.
We love you. We love you.
Love you back.